Buddy, you thought that Gavin McKenna and Ivar Stenberg were getting all the hype? We absolutely have to keep doubling down on the prospects of the future. And that includes the 2027 first overall pick to be. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are continuing our conversation on Everett Silvertip's elite prospect, Landon Dupont. Because man, oh man, it just gets so much more exciting for Canucks fans. This dude, right here, I'm gonna say it a year out from the draft. This dude is destined to be a Canuck. Hockey gods, Francesco Aquilini, Jim Rutherford, Jim Benning, somebody make it happen, because Landon Dupont has just come out with an interview done with the Prospect Don. Big shout out over to the Prospect Don, Anthony Donati, owner of Draft Pro Hockey. He does his own show, the Prospect Don Show. He also co-hosts the On the Clock Show and the Draft Pro Hockey Show, and he does Chicago sports stuff for Deep Ditch Sports 7. Lots of love for the Prospect Don. He had an interview with Landon Dupont the other day, and what I wanted to dive into was what Dupont said about his game. Take a look at the highlight and the update over here. Potential first overall pick in the 2027 NHL Draft, Landon Dupont is so fun to watch. He is an incredible skater, has high hockey IQ, an accurate wrist shot, and a heavy slap shot that explodes off of his stick. The Prospect Don sat down with Dupont and asked him, "Who do you model your game after?" Dupont said, Cale Makar, Quinn Hughes, and a new young stud defenseman, Zeev Buium. I like him a lot. Could you imagine a pair of Buium and Dupont for the Vancouver Canucks? Here's the thing about Landon Dupont. Yes, he is a defenseman, but he's right-handed. Not only is this guy the most prized position in all of hockey, he happens to be treading on that generational defenseman territory. Take a look at some of the other posts over here. Nick from Nikia Koban, UC Berkeley Data Science, went out there and posted about how over the last few weeks, Landon Dupont's odds have kept climbing and climbing. And after the update on stats on March 9th, they are now at the highest point we have seen yet. Landon Dupont is now in historic territory amongst draft minus one defensemen. I am so excited to see where it goes from here. He has a 92 percentile rating of being a first-pair defenseman, which is incredibly high on the Watch the Stats chart over here. Here's another tweet. Sap Edward went out there and posted Landon Dupont stats from March 10th. Look at all of the green circles over here on Dupont and his statistical breakdown in the WHL. He is in the 90th percentile of almost everything. His Corsi is at 99%. His carry exits are at 97. His shooting stats are almost all at 99. And his play driving, puck touches, his passes, slot passes. This guy is a monster. He has a 99 overall metric in totality. 100 defense, 98 offense, 99 overall with 98 transition. Take a look at this post by Joel Henderson. Landon Dupont has 28 points in his last 17 games for Everett. This was from about a week ago. 7 goals, 21 assists, 73 shots on goal in that span. Kind of great numbers for the exceptional status defender. Landon Dupont since January 13th. As of March 16th, 2026, 20 games played, 8 goals, 28 assists, 36 points in 20 games, a 122-point pace over a full 68-game campaign. We already spoke about this tweet a few days ago, but he is now the third most productive draft minus one defenseman in WHL history. Thomas Drance went out there and said this, most productive in 40 years, and he has 3 games left to put more space between him and Scott effing Niedermayer. That's completely insane. Here is the slow start that Landon Dupont had. 7 points in the first 15, 64 points in the last 45 games. Here's a question posted by William LeBlanc. Hey Cam, is it confirmed that he stays in the WHL next season? Is he eligible for the NCAA? He is, and he will be heavily recruited to jump to a school next year. We'll see what he decides. Another tweet goes out there and shows off Landon Dupont and how it's almost destined that he becomes a Canuck. We've been talking about this over and over again, but yeah, he did say that his favorite team as a kid, probably the Vancouver Canucks. Not only the Canucks, but he also likes Zeev Buium in particular. Take a look at this tweet over here. Yeah, I'm sort of a Canucks fan, Dupont told The Athletic 2 weeks ago. Though ever since Quentin Hughes got traded, I don't know if I still want to be with them. They've got Zeev Buium, though, and I really like his game. Bro, Landon Dupont keeps on talking about not just the Makars and the Hugheses, but even that Zeev Buium. It happened on the Prospect On podcast yesterday. It happened on the Athletic interview earlier in March. Here's what Thomas Drance had to say about watching Landon Dupont live. I was rattled by how good he is. This is the best undrafted defenseman I've ever watched. This is probably the best undrafted player I've watched since I saw Macklin Celebrini at Boston University in 2024. And so essentially, the Vancouver Canucks have themselves an opportunity to be bad again next year, and to put themselves in a prime position to drafting a guy who happens to be a Canucks fan and a Zeev Buium fan. Canucks fan Landon Dupont needs to be in Vancouver. The Prospect On said, hey, Buium x Dupont has to happen. I would love that fit. Plus McKenna or Stenberg. Make no mistake about it, my friends. The Vancouver Canucks committing to a long-term rebuild, 5+ years to be competitive again, being at the bottom of the barrel for quite some time, it is going to be a blessing in disguise. And the best part about it is, we understand what Francesco Aquilini's tendencies are. He is going to want to make decisions that put butts into seats and that sell jerseys and that make money. Honestly, if I had to choose between McKenna or Stenberg, McKenna is the guy that probably moves the needle more than Stenberg when it comes to a marketing perspective. And when it comes to the long-term projectability of what could be, having a team with Gavin McKenna and a defenseman like Landon Dupont, it could potentially reshape the way Vancouver is viewed because both of those guys are Canucks fans. And it all starts this season. It all starts next season when we see the Canucks finish last overall this year and when we hopefully see the Vancouver Canucks do poorly again next year. It's why I, personally, am not really all too willing to see the coaching staff change. We know Aquilini doesn't want to pay extra guys. He doesn't want to pay guys to not work for him. It reduces the likelihood that a guy like Adam Foote gets fired. Here's a tweet from Taj that essentially describes the situation in another way. I'm not so sure why people are willing to move on from Adam Foote when he is the best coach to give the Canucks a 25% chance of landing Landon Dupont next draft. I don't think people actually understand what a rebuild means. So keep Adam Foote. Allow this team to be bad. We know that guy sucks as a head coach. Even if the Canucks have good vibes, good leaders, good young dudes, we know they're not good enough. So just let them finish last again next year. Get this guy to go alongside of Gavin McKenna and Zeev Buium. There's a prospect future waiting to happen here with the Vancouver Canucks. All you gotta do is just let it unfold. It might suck. There might be 82+ games of torture and pain and misery for Vancouver Canucks fans over the next few years. But if it's getting Landon Dupont, it's worth it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Landon Dupont's admiration and modeling his game after Zeev Buium and what that means for the long-term future of Vancouver. Does it change the way you see this team and the way this player projects? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.